Hey guys, how you doing? This is Manga etc. and I'm here today to bring you the review for Build King Manga Chapter 2. We are finally two chapters in. So at the end of my last review, at the last video, kind of a first impressions, but whatever. At the end of that video, I predicted that within this chapter, someone will come for Renga and Ton. And I was ready to predict that. It was fairly obvious that that was going to be the case. It was possible to like a small midget of a possibility that it could be Shovel, their master, but just the way shonen goes, just the way most shonens go, it wasn't likely to be his master. And rightly so, it's a new character who turns out to be an apprentice, a senior apprentice to Shovel, and his name was Nana. That's a girl's name, but hey ho, I'm not one to judge. I'm not one to judge. You know, if that's the way he wants to roll, then fine, fair enough, be that, let him be him. But we have this character, obviously a new character is introduced. You gotta get a feel for their character and say, hey, do I like them on first impressions? And he does. Oh, does he? I seem more. No, I don't. I don't think I do. I was gonna say I seem more interested in him than I did on the first impressions of both Ton and Rengar, but I reckon it's mainly the same. If we are going to have to pick, I'll edge it, just edge it to Nana if you really want to be that difficult with me. But yeah, so we're introduced to this character as well. Really, not much to judge of him so far. We can clearly say he's a strong character. So when the fighting does start, it won't all fall on Ton. We can we can safely assume that Nana will be a strong fighter as well. In regards to is he stronger than Ton at this moment? Kind of hard to say. We haven't really seen anything yet to judge this. But what we do know about Nana, I want to say not combat wise, physical wise, its physiology. Basically, what I'm getting at here is that we can, just from what we see of Nana within this chapter, we know he has to be at least fairly strong because of two things. Uh, the first one that we see within the chapter is when he splits the house is it house monster, house beast, house monster, or house beast, whichever one it is. Um, yeah, he splits that in two fairly easily. So that was impressive to see. And the other thing, you got to deep that we are told that approaching Hammer Island is very difficult. You know, the waves and the weather conditions and the madness and all that. It's very deep out there. It's very peak out there. And the fact that Nana was able to swim through this, he didn't. Yeah, he was able to swim through this and make his way to Hammer Island. Should be seen as an impressive feat, and that will go towards all of his strength and his. You get my point. You get my point. So he's got all of that going for him so far. So he's definitely a strong person. And like I said, when the fighting does, if there is going to be much fighting within the series, he will be impressive on that front. So there's that. And now it seems like his quirk, if you will, or just like his personality trait that's going to be seen throughout the whole series a lot. And I hope it's really not overplayed too much. Is that his thing about repeating himself? Because he repeats his introduction twice, probably because he was annoyed the first time. But there was a bit where he was talking to Rengar directly. He's like, "What's your name? I want to know your name, your name." And yeah, like I said previously, I hope that that's not overplayed. And I guess for the most part, that's what we get about that's our introduction to Nana. So that's all we have to judge him on so far. And so far, he's actually quite annoying now that I think about it. Strong but annoying. So that's Nana for now. So within this chapter, we are introduced to house beasts, and they're just basically beasts that can disguise themselves as houses. Fair enough. As chapter goes on, Renga does ask are there other monsters or beasts out there that can disguise themselves as houses? And now I'm still trying to digest this bit of the chapter, but that's when the house eaters come back and they basically say there are these people, well, not people, but creatures called house attacks. And now the house attacks, if I'm understanding this correctly, because I still got the page open from the chapter, they spoke of houses that brought calamities, and the kings of houses who built them, build kings, the main force behind the community. So, and then the chapter goes on to say that broad kings brought calamities. So basically, what I'm getting from this is that these house attacks, and possibly, I'm just gonna say the house attacks for now, and maybe the build kings as well, have the potential of bringing calamities, and so yeah, so they have the potential of bringing calamities, and the house eaters go on to say that this is why they attack houses. So is that in a way saying that the house eaters are good guys? That's what I got from that bit of the chapter anyway. If you got something different, please let me know. Please let me know in the comments down below. I just sort of said that bit so I can rhyme it. But yeah, please let me know. So another interesting thing to come out of this chapter is Ton's hammer. His vigor hammer. I think that's what it's called. It's got a front and a back. It's got the front and the back. Was it the front or the back? So basically one side has the power to heal, it's basically to heal. So he uses that bit on the house piece within this chapter, heals it, makes it bigger, makes it stronger. And that leads to a bit of the chapter where the house warms to Ton, and then later the house also warms up to Rengar, and that's where we have Nana speaking about the characteristics about how they have the ability to be loved by all houses, even the house beast. So that's just basically, I guess, it's kind of hinting towards their potential now and later long down the lines where they probably will be winning over many different creatures who essentially might turn out start off evil at first, and that's one extreme of the spectrum, or just maybe just stubborn at first, because this house beast was fairly stubborn but warmed up to Ton and Rengar fairly easily. Ton, I'm guessing because he was healed by Ton, and Rengar because he did go on to, like, I think he was praising it, and then he mentioned that how he mentioned like the flaws and how it could be worked on about or something like that. But yeah, this is why it would I reckon the house beast warm to them, and we'll probably see a lot of that in the future. So the last thing I want to mention before I close this off, one funny bit at the end of the chapter where we find out that Nana still needs to use the toilet, and it's like, oh, house beast, like, can I use the toilet now? And then no. You ain't using my toilet. Nah, 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 nah. No, 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 no. No, you're not doing it. You're not doing it. So that's everything I've got to say about this chapter. One thing I'm going to throw into this review, that I forgot to mention within the first chapter review, is that we don't know the end game or the potential end game. And that bugs me. That bugs me. That bugs me. I've said it for other things that I review. Well, I said it for one other series that I review, which is an indie manga. Yeah, I've said it about that, but let's just stick to the main point right now. Like, we don't know the end game. For many series, for Naruto, first chapter, I want to be Hokage. Okay, so we know that basically we are working towards Naruto being Hokage. With One Piece, I want to be the king of the pirates. Okay, so we know that Luffy's working to become king of the pirates. Two examples enough. But yeah, we do not know the end game for this series, and that kind of bugs me. That kind of bugs me. I need to know that ASAP. Thank you very much. I'm going to give this chapter a 3-star review. Like always, guys, I'm asking for your thoughts and opinions. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. But most importantly, take care. Have a nice day.